Hey everyone. All right, so here we are, ninth green day in a row, ninth day, trading day of February, and I'm up $3,700. Now, today's a day where I'm a little disappointed in myself because I was, again, so aggressive. The last few days, the last few weeks, I've been really aggressive. And I mean, we've had some great opportunities, some really good momentum, but on several of these trades, I'm giving back profit off the top because I keep adding higher and higher. I think I keep maybe expecting or hoping to see this crazy parabolic move where we see a stock that goes up 100, 200%. And although we've been seeing some good moves, they haven't been that exaggerated. They haven't been that volatile. And so adding at the top, I've been having to then sell as it comes back down. And some of them have retraced and given us a second opportunity, but the one I traded today did not. And so, I'm a little bit frustrated with myself that I'm being so aggressive. I'm swinging for the fences. I've set this mental goal of 100,000 for the month. I know I only have, 9-10 days left. I've got to be super aggressive. And sometimes that gets in your head and it causes some issues. So tomorrow I'm just going to be focused on trying to get green, just trying to have a base hit and trying to have better accuracy and not be maybe quite so aggressive. Now, again, $3,700 is a great day. That's nothing to be disappointed with, but I gave back profit off the top. I was up closer to 7,000. I gave back almost half my profit. So I got to kind of adjust and pivot, and it's better to do that now than to wait until I have a big red day. So I'm going to try to adjust, be a little bit better tomorrow, and try to finish up this week strong. All right, so that's it for me. And a reminder, you guys, guess what? Tomorrow is Valentine's Day. If you haven't already gotten something for your Valentine, make sure you go out and you do it today and get something for yourself also. At Warrior Trading, we're giving you the gift of love, 30% off store-wide, coupon code LUV30, LOVE30. All right, so I will see you guys in the chat room tomorrow morning for Valentine's Day, and we'll see if we can make a little bit of money. All right, everyone. So we're going to do midday market recap here, go over the trades from this morning. I'm going to finish the day up $3,796. Not really the easiest day. I actually had kind of poor accuracy today. I'm going to put up, let's see, this is my IRA account, my Lightspeed account, and then this is my Centerpoint account. So up 4,700 in the IRA, down a little under 1,000 in the Centerpoint account. So, kind of just like not the best day, but you know what? I mean, overall, another green day. It's the 30th day of the year, and I'm going to put it in my calendar plus $3,796.20, ninth green day of February. So that'll put me up a little over 70,000 on the month. Today, the big mover was kind of a surprise. I wasn't expecting it. GSUM right out of the gates took off. Now, this one was on our watch list this morning as a continuation setup because yesterday it was pretty strong. You can see yesterday it was strong, squeezing up to $3 on decent volume coming into the name. And so I said, it's worth keeping on watch over 3 because look, pre-market it's hanging out right at 3. But it didn't really, I really wasn't sure it was going to work. I just was like, it's a maybe. The gap scanners this morning, I'll put these up here. They were kind of a dud of a scan. 9:15 a.m. Leading gapper DBD. It's a 75 million share float stock. Second leading gapper is Solo. This one, I was interested in. Pre-market high is 210, but I just sort of felt like, I just wasn't sure about it. Pre-market, it was already giving back some of the gains. It wasn't holding up really well. And so I just sort of was like, I'm not sure. It ended up popping up, pulling back, doing a little ABCD pattern, but not a lot of range, a little on the cheaper side. And then that was basically it. These ones were either too cheap or too expensive. YGYI, actually, this one we had as a maybe. This was on the watch list this morning. Also ended up working out pretty well. Pre-market high was 835. It ended up hitting a high of 928. So another one right off the watch list. But as you can see here in the first few minutes, it was really volatile, popping up, dropping down, back down. This formed a little bit of a flag pattern of consolidation. And when it broke to the upside, we got a nice move here, but I was just kind of not into it. And unfortunately, I did have 3 consecutive losers today, which was sort of disappointing. So my accuracy just wasn't really on point as much as it's been earlier in the week. So anyways, this morning, as the market's about to ring, or the bell's about to ring, I've got YGYI up. I've got Solo up right here. And I had GSUM up over here. And the bell rings, and all of a sudden GSUM starts to take off. And I was surprised. I mean, I was like, oh, whoa, okay, it's taking off. The place that I really wanted to be a buyer on it was the break of 3, but it immediately took off, and I was like, you know what? I'm jumping in, and I chased it. I jumped in at 307. I got a partial fill, and I was like, who cares? Adding at 319. This thing is taking off, and what we've seen in the last 3 or 4 days is that the first stock to take off has been going crazy, and I chased it. I chased it the same as I chased TMSR, the same as I chased Works yesterday, because in this market, it's been working. We've been having kind of one opportunity, and if you wait for the pullback, you just don't always get it. So on this one, I just kept buying as it was going higher. I was like, all right, guys, I'm adding here, looking for the move to 4. Let me pull the chart back up. Back of mind target was maybe it goes up to 515, the 200 moving average. And the fact that we had headlines this morning made me feel even better about it. So I just added right up into that move to 414. Now it got halted at 414, and I was expecting an open higher. I put in an order to buy, and I was expecting a move up to at least 450, and then the target was $5. At that point, my cost basis was like $3.55 or something like that. It resumes from the halt, and you can see it hit a high of 414, and it double topped, which is not what you like to see. There's 2 things that went wrong on this resumption. Number 1, it opened basically flat and started to sell off. So number 1, it opened flat. Number 2, it started to sell off. And so on this one, I quickly switched gears. I sold at 97. Tried to sell at 95.80, got some slippage, got filled at 74, filled on a pop up to 409, which was great, got a good little exit there, and then added back at 83. So I added back right here thinking, okay, maybe it was pulling back for a second, but if it surges back up over 4, then back to $4.50, $5 kind of target. I stopped out of that for a $900 loss right here at 351, and that was my first loss. I then got back in at 370 and stopped out for a $1,200 loss right here. So that's 2 losses in a row. And then the third loss was jumping in ALRN off the scanners at 250 and 254 and stopping out at 242. So now I've got 3 losses in a row, and I went from being up, 7,000 to up 4,700 or 4,500. ALRN hit the high day momentum scanner, and it hit the scanner, and then it kind of like immediately reversed. I ended up buying, high a day was 55, and I was in at 52. So, and I bought at 54. So that was not a good trade. That was disappointing. But again, with the news and hitting the scanners, I was kind of like thinking that maybe it would open up a little bit more. There's ALRN right there. So, the thing, I guess this week is kind of my strategy has been step up to the plate with big size, because we've seen this month a couple of huge movers. Now, had GSUM opened high, which I thought it would, and squeezed up to 450, 475, $5, boom, that would have been another $10,000 day, right? I mean, it would have been an awesome day. And I was willing to take some risk to make that happen. So, it's not like I'm trading with small size. I'm being aggressive. I'm stepping up to the plate. I'm looking for these, these big moves. And today, we just didn't, we got this one on GSUM, but I didn't make as much on it as I could have because it didn't continue. I saw a bunch of you guys that jumped in it early on, around this kind of 325 spot. You did really well, 325, 350, 370. Those were all good entries. Squeezing up to 414. And then unfortunately, coming out of the halt, it just sold off. First 1 minute candle to make a new high right here. Nice technical breakout, gave a nice 15 cent pop back up, but it couldn't get back up to the highs. So, this one, for whatever reason, was just a little heavier on the sell side. And it's one of those things you just never know. Sometimes we'll have ones like, Works on this day here, that they take off and go from 4 all the way up to 1139. Like just absolutely crazy momentum. And sometimes it feels like we run into a wall. And what creates that wall, is it can be any number of things. It can be someone who's been holding the stock for a long time, who is putting shares on the open market to sell. Sometimes you have insiders who want to take profit and sell. That can certainly be a factor, especially with these stocks that have been beaten up for a while. You could have short sellers looking to take a big short position, in the kind of at these high levels. It's aggressive just to short a stock that's squeezing up, especially when it has a catalyst and a low float, because some of those can go up 200, 300%. So we don't always really know why some of these have a ceiling and kind of run into resistance. But I trade the market that's in front of me. For me, it's all about rate of change. I'm looking for stocks moving quickly. What I don't do is I don't look for a stock, that's not moving and then just randomly buy it. I never do that. I always look for stocks that are moving. So here, Works, by the time I'm getting in, it's already moving. I'm chasing it up, but that's okay because the fact that it's moving is what tells me the stock is strong. It's what tells me the stock has potential. And that's really always been my strategy. Look for momentum. Look for something that's moving, and then jump on the momentum and ride the wave as long as I can. And you never know how long it'll be. Sometimes you end up getting these huge moves, and sometimes you end up buying the top. And, over the big picture, my accuracy is about 70%. So, sometimes I'm right, sometimes I'm wrong. And, I just try to be right more than I'm wrong. So I had the 3 losses in a row, but, I hadn't given back more than half of my daily gains. So I was willing to go ahead and take another trade. A couple of rules that I have. Number 1, I have a max loss per trade. I keep it at about $1,000. That's why I always start with 3,000 shares. 3,000 shares is 30 cent stop. I double to 6,000. Now I've got about 15 cent stop. I go up to 9,000. Now I have a 10 cent stop. But by the time, look at this GSUM trade. By the time I had 9,000 shares, I was already up from my first entry at 307. So now I can actually set a stop at break even. Okay, and then I can go ahead and add more and start setting profit stops. This strategy works well when you have good momentum, and we've had some great momentum in the last couple of weeks. We had SXTC that made a really big move. Chinese stock from $4 to $8. We had TMSR make a big move. We had WORX. So momentum trading is all about looking for where there's momentum in the market and jumping in as quickly as possible. My secret weapon are these scanners right here by Trade Ideas. Now, these are my own scanner settings, but this is how I find the momentum in the market. ALRN, RKDA. So RKDA hits the scanner, and I look at it, and initially I'm like, well, I'm not really sure, but I see potential for this move up to 622. So I went ahead and took a starter long and made about $200 on the long side, and that was in my my IRA right here. So I take a $200 scalp to the long side, and then, as it started to reverse right here on this little 1 minute pullback, I flipped directions and went short. So I went short and made, like $300 to the short side right down here. And then I covered the short, sat for a second, and as it came up right here, I got back into the long side, and then I stopped out right down here. So in total, I lost about $750 trading it long and short. I wouldn't have held any of the positions any longer than I did. My long right here, I wouldn't have held it through this pullback. My short right here, I wouldn't have held it through this move higher. And this long, I wouldn't still be holding it. Each one gave me a reason to get out. And unfortunately on that last one, I lost more than I had made on the first two. So today's a day where, there was a little bit of momentum in the market out of the gates. I did not expect GSUM would be strong. I really didn't. I mean, it was on the watch list as a maybe, but continuation setups, like CLPS yesterday, they don't usually work out super well. I mean, sometimes they do, but a lot of times they don't. So I just really wasn't that into it. My first entry was 307, and I only got a partial fill, and then I added at 319. First target was 350, and then as it started to get more and more momentum, I was like, yep, I'm just going to keep adding on this, and just try to ride this momentum. So, it's right off the scanners. I mean, that's the strategy. So, when you have these scanners, you're able to see the momentum in the market. And right now, at 11:21, things are definitely slowing down a little bit. We're not seeing as much momentum, not as much as really moving. And that's typical. Things often slow down around 10:30, 11. Sometimes it picks back up in the afternoon. Other times, that's kind of it. But if you're a momentum trader, what you're looking for are stocks moving quickly. And the goal is pretty much for me always to jump in, set a 10-cent stop, and then, hold on, see how far it'll go. So it worked okay today. Not the biggest day of the month, but $3,700 is good. Last Wednesday I made only $476. So, definitely a decent day here. Like I said, I'm up about 70,000 on the month now. I've had a couple of really, really nice days and, closing in on that $30,000 monthly goal. So, let's see, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 days left in the month. All right, so 10 days left in the month, and we'll see what we can do. Hopefully I can, put the pedal to the metal here, and, and realistically, today on GSUM, if that had opened higher, gone to 450 to 5, probably would have been a 15, maybe even a $20,000 winner. And just like that, I'd be within $10,000 of my monthly goal. So I think it will happen at this point. If just even 2 of the next 10 days give us some great opportunities, I should be able to close in on 100K. It really shouldn't be too hard at this point. The 117,000 spot, that I'm not sure about. Because I'm about, let's see. All right, so I am $38,000 away from the $1 million goal. So $38,000. So that's kind of my goal for this month. 30,000 to the 100K monthly goal, 38,000 to the $1 million goal, which would put me up 108,000 on the month. So yeah, that's realistically, that is my goal. But first line in the sand, 100K month, and then I'm only $8,000 off that level. So hopefully I'm able to get there by the end of this month. We've got 10 days left. Market's closed this coming Monday for President's Day. So that's going to be a little bit of a factor. I'm going to be out. I know I have at least one day that I'm going to be out later this month. So actually for me, I only have 9 days left to make another, $38,000. But, as long as we keep seeing momentum, and, this is the thing where emotions start to run high in the market. When you start seeing stocks, like GSUM or like WORX, that make really big moves, even for me, I start to get FOMO. And the next stock I see that shows strength, I'm that much more aggressive. And, today I was probably the most aggressive I've been in the last couple weeks in terms of share size. But, I keep stepping up to the plate and getting these, really nice trades. And, the only difference between making 5,000 a day and making 10,000 at a certain point is your share size. And then the only difference between 10,000 and 20,000 is your share size. So when I see these opportunities, I'm trying to be more and more aggressive. But no doubt, if I do have a big red day, I'm going to have to scale back and readjust. Today was probably the poorest accuracy I've had out of the last, week and a half. So, I'm probably going to be a little careful tomorrow, Thursday, and then Friday as we finish up the week. But, I'll trade the market that is in front of me. And if we see great opportunities, and we see stocks moving like GSUM, all of a sudden taking off 20, 30, 40 cents, I'm going to jump on, ride the momentum. All right, so anyways, that's it for me. I'll be back at it first thing tomorrow morning, 9:15 for pre-market analysis. Hope you guys have a good afternoon, and I'll see you all in the morning. All right, bye everyone. If you're still watching, you must have really enjoyed that video. So why not subscribe and get email alerts anytime I upload new content? Remember, when you subscribe, you become a member of the Warrior Trading family.